Aloha. Hey, it's Julie Zimlas, 365 Hawaii, and we are here with our monthly update on what's going on with the Hawaii Island housing market. And we are very happy to have a full cadre of amazing realtors who are helping us today. We are going to introduce them, but to give you a quick update on what we'll be doing is I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I'm seeing nationally from the Wall Street Journal and Inman Connect or Inman News. And then I'm going to then give the screen to each realtor to discuss the housing markets around the island. And then we will have an update on mortgage and financing. And then we will open it up to questions, but please feel free to go ahead and put your comments or questions in the chat, and I'll read those out as they are appropriate. If you are joining us on YouTube, if you want to do this in live, make sure you join our 365 Ohana. You can do that by going to move to Hawaii365.com and put in join Ohana. And then that way you'll get a whole experience of real estate. You will get access to my books for free. And you'll also get a chance to jump in on these things live. So hopefully that inspires you, and you'll get a chance to be connected with one of my wonderful realtor partners who you'll see today are awesome. So let's start with introductions real quick. We'll go around and everyone can just say hi. So let's start with Lance Owens. He's with LUVA Real Estate, and he will be talking to you guys about single family home market and a little bit of what he sees in Kona. And then we have Delania Branham, eXp Realty, and she is going to be talking about South Kona and what's happening in the Kona condo market. And then we have Jana Mahoney with Windermere, and she is an expert in Waikoloa and Waikoloa Village. Say hi. And then we have newcomers. We've got Cole and Stacy Schlack, and they live in Waimea, and they are going to be covering the North Hawaii market. And then we pop over the Hamakua department and we go over to Amber Haley with the Haley team, and she's with East Hawaii, and she's with Hawaii Life Real Estate. And then we will wrap it up with the Wynn and Egan team. It's the Wins today. And we've got Marla, raise your hand, Mar. And then we've got Scott, and they're in the same house. And they are amazing people who help you guys make sure you close your loans on time. So let's let me tell you guys a little bit about what's going on with the market. This came in from the Wall Street Journal today. Existing home sales dropped last month as the buying frenzy shows signs of abating. August sales were down 2% from July, the biggest monthly decline since April, and down 1.5% from a year earlier, the first year-over-year decrease since June 2020. Still, the market remains hot with low interest rates spurring demand and the supply of houses for sale well below normal for this time of year. The pace of sales exceeds the pre-pandemic level. And a reporter wrote, the housing market is much more competitive than it was pre-pandemic, but there are early signs that the mania from earlier this year is calming down. Homes on the market are getting fewer offers each, and the share of listings with a price cut is increasing. While prices are rising quickly, the pace is slowing. One reason is that frustrated buyers have taken a step back from the market due to sky-high prices. And we see that. And then Inman, home price growth is slowing and buyers are a bit less frantic than earlier this year. Interest rates will likely remain low for the near future, and inventory will probably remain tight as well. Hold on, guys. All that is to say this fall will be business as usual for most agents. Inman spoke to real estate agents, brokers, and economists to determine what's in store for the housing market. Some agents Inman spoke to were hesitant to go so far as to say the market is becoming easy for buyers moving into fall, but the buyer competition is definitely cooling and will likely continue to do so, agents told Inman. So that's what we're hearing on the national side. Let's take it to the local department, and we'll start with Lance. Lance, what are you seeing in the Kona market?
Hey, I'm seeing some of that. I mean, we're not getting as many offers as we had before. We jokingly kid, what was it, 2 months ago, the inventory on active homes for sale was 45. And last month, I think we got up to 59, and, that was 14 homes. That's a 30% increase, right? 33. And we're at 66 homes available today. So we've gone up even more. So it's encouraging for buyers to see a little bit of this change. They're still priced high, and they are still going relatively fast. But yes, that I'm seeing some of that truth to that.
Okay. So Lance, on that one, for multiple offers, are you seeing some of the crazy?
Not as bad as it used to be. No, there's still multiple offers. It's kind of hard to say because we're finally getting our head above waters as realtors, but we kind of quit just taking on new clients for a while. It was too busy. I think we got 13 escrows still going right now. So I'm looking at the market. There's with the 66 homes available, 75 homes are in escrow right now. So that number was a lot higher too. So I think, as far as multiple offers, we are getting them. It's still happening, but not as many.
Okay. And then on the, what do you think might be coming for the fall? If you have an idea, do you think that we're still going to see more inventory coming on and less demand?
With tourism down a little over 30% after the governor asked people to stop coming, I think that's going to hurt us. So it's going to be, 2 weeks ago, I would have had a different answer for you. But now that we're seeing the impact from the governor getting on national news and telling people to stay to Hawaii, 33 out of the last 35 sales that we've done have been to people out of state. It hasn't been to people here. So, and some of them were, sight unseen, but once it opened up, people were still coming back. And now that they're not coming again, I think I expect to see a little bit more inventory available and the craziness down. So.
Okay. So Delania, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're seeing in the Kona market, South Kona and condo market?
Really similar to Lance. I think it's probably going to be across the board. We're all seeing same things. I just ran a quick search. So Keaho to Melali'i, which is a pretty wide swath of South Kona. There are 15 available listings under $1 million. About half of those are Melali'i areas. So there's like nothing in South Kona. Condos, I think there's like 27 available condos under $1 million. So very limited inventory. Multiple offers still, but like Lance said, I think it's not getting quite so intense. I think buyers are getting fatigued. They're kind of over a year of just battling, and so the pressure's off a little bit, I think. And then in terms of fall, it's slowing down. People are back to school, not traveling, definitely not traveling this month. So things are coming down, and I think during the holidays, people get distracted. What I'm seeing are the people that have a specific timeline to be here are still forging ahead. Those that were kind of like, let's see, we kind of want to buy something, let's watch the market. They're busy. They're not super focused. They're still hoping that things will slow down a little bit. So I think there's a lot of wait and see right now. Yeah.
Quick question, Delania. How many 2-bedroom condos? What's the lowest price 2-bedroom condo you see out there right now?
I have to pull it up again and see, but I don't think you can get into a 2-bedroom for under 4 condo wise. That's the thing. Everybody wants 2-bedroom condos, and sometimes I think maybe you want to be flexible. I actually saw a Keaho Punahele yesterday, and it was really cool. It's a 1-bedroom, but they had put in a pull-out sofa, but also this Murphy bed piece of furniture that could extend, the sleeping space. And I think sometimes everybody wants a 2-bedroom condo and a 2-bathroom condo, and then you might be waiting a while or paying a premium for that. So if you can get a little creative, modify your desires a little bit, it opens up some doors.
Good to hear that 1-bedroom condo might go quick then, huh?
Oh yeah. It was the second day of showings, and they already had offers in on it. It was gorgeous. It was really nice one. So, usually I feel like I can't speak for everyone, but sometimes you go into a property and you're like, okay, this one's you're gonna have to come in really strong on this one, versus another property that it's like, well, let's wait and see what happens in a day or two.
So Delania, for people, because I know there's a couple people here looking for condos. When you say they have to come in really strong, does that mean, can you just give us a little bit of what does that mean?
over asking.
Over asking, I mean, is that?
Well, strong in price point, but also in the way the offer's written and, all of the things that we do to kind of make it as viable as possible. But I think, longer, and a lot of buyers, I feel like they've kind of been watching the market and educating themselves, and they're seeing the same things we're seeing, and they know, hey, that's a great property. That's the best one that I've seen in this building. And, they tend to be on the same page of like, what's the best offer we can write? What can we do to make this work? Julie, you're muted.
Thank you, my family. If anyone has questions about the condo market, go ahead and put them in the chat room, and we'll come back to that as we're moving through the island. So next up we have Jana. There she is. So Jana, tell us a little bit what's happening in the Waikoloa and Waikoloa Village market.
Okay. So we have had a lot fewer homes in inventory, I think, as everyone has had. Inventory now, Waikoloa Village in Matalani and Waikoloa is about 0.8, so less than 1 month. Compared to this time last year, it was about 4. Now month of inventory is down, and the other thing that's pretty, I think, important is the days on the market is down. So as soon as something comes on it sells pretty quickly. So that's kind of another thing that's going on right now, moving quickly. So if you are looking, it's important to be ready, willing and able to go. So right now we have, let's see, in Waikoloa Resort, Waikoloa Village in Matalani, we have 21 condos right now and 13 residences. So it's still pretty, I don't know, it's still pretty tight.
Yeah.
But you only need one house, right?
That's like that, attitude, Jana. And then, so are you seeing because you sometimes have a feeling for what's coming on the market because you obviously your company talks about upcoming listings. Got any good information for us in terms of maybe stuff coming on the market?
Well, I know of a couple of them that are getting ready to come on, but not a ton. It's probably about the same. We've got sold August and condos and actually 11 residences. So I don't expect anything big to change just because, right now it's taken a little bit longer to get them closed too. So we sell them now and they'll close in a month or two.
Yeah. Okay. And then making sure I'm using you for all your worth. The thought process as we head to the rest of the year, are you seeing are you getting buyers who are saying I'm holding off until January, or do you see people who are saying I'm looking right now, get me anything that's on the market?
No, I think the successful buyers are the ones who are ready to go. And when something comes up, boom, we go look at it. And then they get a feel for the market. They can see what's sold in the past. And if they're ready, then they kind of know when something comes up that it's a good one for them. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the tactic that I've had lately, because it used to be you could look at 10 and think about it for a week and then make an offer. Well, you can't do that now. You look at one when it comes up, and if you like it, you make an offer within a couple of days usually. Yeah.
Okay.
And make it easy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. And then we'll come back and we'll do an open discussion. So if you guys, there's some people who joined us a little bit later. If you have questions about the Waikoloa market, that'll be for Jana. And we'll ask your questions as we go through here. So let's keep going north, and let's go and do Cole and Stacy Schlack. Raise your hands. There you go. Better Homes and Garden, I think, yeah, is your brokerage. Okay. So tell us what's going on. What are you guys seeing?
Well, it's been super competitive up here in Waimea, especially. We have an interesting dynamic that the desirable side, or what a lot of people call the dry side of town, is still seeing the highest demand. There's no slowing that. I mean, we have one come on the market. And if you're not there on day one to make an offer, you're not going to get it. But the green side, as it's called, starts in around the 650 range. And we're seeing more inventory in the last couple weeks in that area. And it's not flying off the shelf like it was. But there's still a lot of buyers sitting out there waiting for the right house on the dry side of Waimea. I think there's a bunch of people that bought houses here in the last year that wanted to be on the dry side, and so they're hoping to find a property to move over to be closer to the schools. So that's what we're seeing in town. I have been surprised that some of the higher price points there's one on the market in Sandalwood for 1.5, which is a really nice home. And it's still for sale about 10 days in, which is
Kind of surprising.
yeah,
Shocking.
So I'm surprised that one is still out there, but yeah, I'm optimistic that we'll get more inventory, but right now it's just, we might get a new listing. We might get one new house a week on the dry side, and usually it's gone.
Same day sometimes.
And you have to, if you want one, you have to have all your ducks in a row to get it. You have to know exactly what you want so that you can make an offer with, unfortunately, nearly zero contingencies. Because you're competing. We have a bunch of investors trying to buy rental properties in here right now. So they're coming in with cash, and they're hard to compete against. So there's some challenges. Kohala Ranch has been on fire with lot sales. I think it's just because everybody that can't find a house to buy is suddenly thinking they'll just build one, which is not cheaper or easier, but we've seen a massive amount of sales up there this year compared to the last. We've seen more sales up there this year than I think the last 10 years combined.
Wow.
And there are currently 30 building permits in the works in the ranch. So it's going to be a really great neighborhood. I'm really, but entry into that neighborhood, you're going to be minimum of probably 1.5. That's probably tough to even find. Right now, there's a couple properties in the 2.2 range, and that's probably the entry level for Kohala Ranch, because you just can't build a house for less than 1.5 up there right now.
So Cole and I were having, and then also Stacy, we're having a conversation about how difficult it is to find people to help you build your homes, and the cost of building materials and getting the permits going. So we do have people sometimes saying, well, isn't it just easier to get a piece of land? Well, we've had conversations about that. Around the whole island, I think it's been difficult. And we can ask also Amber with that part too, because people sometimes think east side is going to be that less expensive to do that there. So, and then for you guys, throw your 2 cents out. What do you guys think about coming into the fall and heading towards the rest of the year? Do you guys feel like you've been hearing people saying, I'm coming, but they're hanging, or what do you think?
I was just gonna say, I think it's kind of slow, partly school's in, people who are coming for school are here, and there's just nothing to look at.
Yeah. So they have to hang off until the next time when the school comes back next semester or next year. Is that what they're thinking?
Maybe, it's hard to say.
Yeah, we're hitting the low time because applications are not open yet for next school year.
Which I was going to throw that out here just so everybody knows, for people looking at Waimea as an option because of the great schools. Parker School opens up applications October 1st, and HPA's, their deadline is December 15th this year. So everybody needs to be aware that
that's for the 22-23 school year. So there's a funny dynamic here that people don't want to buy a house unless their kid gets into the school, but you don't necessarily, by the time you know that your kid gets in, then you can't find a house to buy or rent. So renting is even worse than buying here.
Cole, tell them what people are paying for single family homes up there to rent.
In our neighborhood, where you can, entry level, is about $875 right now. Those same homes are renting for $6,000 a month, $5,000 a month.
What?
Yeah.
We have a lot of, because of the telescope, we have a lot of professionals that are in town, living in town, working in town. And so it does drive the rent to some extreme levels. I think partially because their employer is probably paying those high bills.
Yeah, and then all the doctors and stuff too, so.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good job, thank you. Okay, so let's go to the east side, and Amber, let's hear what you have to say about what's going on over there. Amber looks trapped, there you go, okay. Amber.
Okay, can you
I'm
guys
calling on you.
hear
Yeah,
me
you look
okay?
like
My
you have the
internet.
freeze there, yeah, go ahead, tell us what's going on with the housing market in East Hawaii. Uh-oh. Amber. Okay, it looks like she got frozen there. Uh-oh, she is stuck. Okay, well, while we wait for Amber to come back, let's pop over to financing. So let's chat with Marla and Scott about what you guys are looking at in terms of rates and where you see mortgages going.
So I'll talk about rates really quickly. They are, as you said from the Inman News, like relatively flat, and we haven't seen much change, much fluctuation. There's a little fluctuation from day to day, but not huge, and probably not impacting rates more than 1/8% as they adjust. So those are still relatively low.
Okay. And then Scott, okay, Amber's back. Hold on, let me hold on to the financing to get Amber before anything bad happens. Amber. Okay, so
Sorry, I
Amber,
usually have excellent internet, so that was weird.
I know you right up to that moment and I said, hey, it's your turn.
You're all frozen. All right.
Okay, tell us about
So,
what's going on this side.
So east side. So East Hawaii is the busiest market on the island. What we have seen in August was pretty much right on track with what we saw in July as far as numbers. So, sales are still up from where they were, like a year ago at the same time. And we're still, seeing prices climb. It does feel less frantic, but we do still have a lot of activity. So we're definitely a market that is not exactly following the same trends as the national market. And there's a lot of reasons. Some people touched on those already, but we are seeing a lot of people relocating to East Hawaii and the entire island because they're working remote now. So we do still have a huge buyer demand. And, I kind of go back and forth on what I predict for the future for the east side of the island. It does feel like more inventory is coming on the market. So hopefully we'll go in that direction. But yeah, it is still really competitive. It doesn't feel as frantic as it did like a month ago. The last time we had one of these chats. So there are still multiple offers, but we are seeing people get offers accepted with financing and, not necessarily having to go crazy above asking price. It's really hard to make generalizations about East Hawaii. So those of you who are tuning in now or later, and you have questions about what is typical at East Hawaii, we have like a wide range of different types of properties and different types of neighborhoods and different lava zones. So if you ever have specific questions, reach out to Julie and she can connect us and I might be able to, shed a little light on that because it is a really unique market. But yeah, it's still competitive. We still have low inventory. We're still seeing an increase in sales, just not quite as frantically.
Okay, and then also for Gila proper, like around like the university and the town and stuff, what like for a 3-bedroom 2-bath house, what's the average price for a house?
So Hilo proper 3-bedroom 2-bathroom house. Well, let's see. It would vary, but you could get something under 500. A lot of those houses are going to be older. We kind of joke around here like the termites are holding hands to hold them together. So you could get something potentially under 500,000, but there's just not a lot. Like inventory is really low. If you want to be in Hilo proper, yeah, so that is a pretty competitive competitive market, and prices are staying. So yeah,
So
you
are you
could
up to,
maybe,
like,
but I would plan on more than that.
yeah, but let's say, I mean, could you get like a nice happy house for 650?
Let's see. The last house I just saw for 650. Let me see.
Because there
I
are other
mean,
people feel like they're being priced out of West Hawaii.
the new construction you would not be able to get for 650 probably.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of that's like, reaching the 8, 9, even like $1 million for some of the like new construction right outside of Hilo too. It's like the prices are pretty shocking. So yeah, it would probably be an older home if you're at that price point. Yeah.
Okay, so let's thank you, Amber. Appreciate
Yeah.
your input on that one. And again, I will so we have some questions, and I'll get you the questions. Let me introduce Scott and have him go and talk a little bit about what's happening with is there other finance news that you'd like to? I heard that rates will probably continue to go up. I heard somewhere in the world. Any thoughts you have about all of this?
Sure. Just a couple things to add to mention. However, I think most of the forecasting that we're going to see increasing by time next year.
I think you're cutting in and out. Is he
want-
cutting in and out?
Yeah, because I can hear him in your background, but then he's cutting in on his.
I'm gonna mute and then maybe.
Is this any better?
Okay, keep talking.
Okay, so there's 3 major entities. All right. Marla, you want to take it?
Or bring him over.
So one of the things that we saw with COVID, you guys are probably aware of it, is that lenders started adding a lot of overlays and restrictions and risk tolerance to qualifying for mortgages. And so we had a lot of extra hoops we had to jump through. We had some limitations as far as like credit score, DTI, types of properties that they could finance. And one of those things that was impacted was additional pricing, basically more expensive interest rates for second homes and non-owner occupied investment properties. But those have since gone away. So now that pricing has come back down, it's more in line. It's not, we don't have any risk pricing associated with those anymore. And in fact, as far as our company goes and the lending guidelines, we don't have any more COVID related overlays to our guidelines or financing or requirements. So that's a major relief for us too, because there was a lot of extra documenting that had to happen right up to closing and everything, and getting through all the forbearance issues and stuff that we had as that was happening.
Okay.
So it's easier to get a loan.
That's good. That's what we like to hear. There we go. Okay. And okay, so what Scott is saying is today the 30-year fixed mortgage rate is hovering near historic lows. However, most experts believe rates will rise as the economy continues to recover. Here are the forecasts for the fourth quarter of 2022 by the 3 major entities mentioned above. Freddie Mac is running at 3.8%, Fannie Mae at 3.2%, and the Mortgage Bankers Association at 4.2%. Thank you. Dominic says, is there any indication that the feds will make changes that will affect the mortgage rates for 2022?
Hopefully you can hear me a little bit better now. Is this any better?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Okay.
So the Fed doesn't necessarily have a direct impact on mortgage rates. In fact, the mortgage rate market and the Fed basically are responding to the same set of criteria when determining what happens in the market. So the Fed, when they adjust interest rates, what they're adjusting are the interest rates that banks lend to each other overnight. So what that generally does is it impacts short-term interest rates on things like auto loans, credit cards, CDs, things like that. And so what when they increase interest rates, generally that's in response to some market condition that's occurring, such as inflation or good consumer spending or bad consumer spending or something along those lines. So I don't think that anything that the Fed will do will have a direct impact on mortgage rates, but I think the reason why they're expecting rates to go up in the future is because the economy is doing quite well at this particular point. And so that will gradually inch the Fed's rate up will also inch the mortgage rates up over time as well. So hopefully that addresses kind of the forecast and why they anticipate it's going to go up in time.
Okay. And then as we keep telling everybody every single time that we meet, that getting your financing together before you actually even think about buying a home on this island is key, right? So one of the things that we ask people to do is meet with our mortgage people, or obviously we have other people. Sometimes these guys can't lend on land, but making sure that you come in strong with financing in place before you can actually approach our realtors, because they're going to tell you to make sure that that's handled. So if we haven't made that clear to everybody, it's very important right now, because the market the way it is right now requires financing in place. So Pam says, how long is it taking to purchase a home if you can't offer much over asking appraised value? Somebody want to take that on? You want to do that one, Jana? You want to try that one? Okay.
Lance, you're muted if you were trying to talk.
Okay, so am I unmuted?
Yes.
Sorry, I had to switch to my phone because I kept cutting out. So it is pretty difficult right now on the Kohala coast to get something at list, because it seems like people put something on the market right now at list and you get multiple offers, and the offers that are winning, it seems like a lot of times are above list. Not a lot. I think it's hovering around 101, but it's not below list for sure. Like, people try to make some type of lowball offer, you're not going to get it. And if you don't have a pre-qual letter in hand to submit with your purchase contract, you're probably not going to get that either. So, yeah, not a lot are going for list right now that I've seen. And the ones that I've won for my buyers recently have been above list with an appraisal gap.
Okay. And with Jana, you also had one though that because you structured the offer well, it wasn't about the money. No, it was. It was the you offered to pay for the inspections or something, right?
Right. Yeah. So, in anything you can do to make it clean and easy. So, don't ask for inspections, don't ask for surveys. You can still do, and I recommend that you do still have a survey, still have an inspection, but you're saying an as is survey waiver so that you're not asking the seller to pay for that. Because when they look at an offer, I actually got one recently where I was actually $1,000 less than the highest offer, but a survey is $2,000. So I was actually $1,000, bet to the better when you consider all of those costs. So anything that makes it very easy for the seller is what they're kind of looking for right now. They consider everything, not just the price, but it did go over the list price, which is pretty typical right now. Cash is king, but you can still get, do a deal if you have a nice offer and it's clean, and you definitely have to have a pre-qual walking in the door if you are going to do anything with financing. So
I wanted to kind of bounce off that too with what Janice said, because that's been what's been winning some recently is the cleanest offer, not always the highest. It's always the best offer. And taking the time to call that listing agent and asking them, what is your client looking for? What's the biggest thing? We just recently won one for a couple on here. And the biggest thing was this couple was moving back to Japan, and it was very stressful, and they didn't, they were Japanese nationals. So they, it was difficult for them to try to get, like Jana said, the survey and to get things done, even though they had their agent there to help them. We basically said, you can leave the food in the cupboards. We will take it as is, where is, what is, no cleaning. We'll do the survey and we'll do the, same thing. And that's what won it. So.
Yeah. Making it clean. Delania, do you have a thought on that one? Have you ever done that where you just tell people, we'll bring the broom?
Yeah, I mean, like Lance said, having a relationship with the listing agent and, figuring out what's the little thing that the seller wants. We just had a condo accepted, and we were willing to be really flexible with the closing time frame. They had a last minute renter they wanted to accommodate, and we were able to do that. And it was multiple offer situation, and we got it because we were just very accommodating to what they wanted. And so sometimes it's those little things. It's not necessarily always price. I mean, price, again, don't expect to pay under asking or close to asking, assume that you're going to pay more. But yeah, there's a lot of little factors that can go into getting your offer accepted.
There you go. And the other realtors want to add on that you've had personal experience with getting buyers offers accepted because you did something clever?
I mean, even if you're not all cash, the more cash you can bring on your offer, that looks really appealing in a multiple offer situation. So, whoever has, the biggest down payment, they can put maybe even a second deposit after the inspection period. Things like that can really help you stand out. But yeah, those offer terms are definitely really important right now. In East Hawaii, we have, like I said, a lot of interesting real estate here. So a lot of it is selling for list or above, but sometimes people price things really crazy. So it's not necessarily like a hard, fast rule. And when you talk with somebody who knows the market and knows the area and can look at that property, they'll be able to help guide you with that. So it's not a hard, fast rule. It's just in general, a lot of things still are going for a lot. But yeah, the more cash you can bring, that looks good too to the seller.
Real quick, I wanted to jump in too is we've had 4 appraisals come in this month, all at the purchase price. So that's been good. Our appraisals are catching up.
Finally.
Finally, yeah. Yeah, that's been the most important thing is an appraisal gap in the contract has been like the number one thing for the last 6-8 months probably. And they're finally, that's not such an important thing anymore.
That's good. That helps these people who are here looking for the fall market. So that's great. Any other good news in the market that people want to share? I love the fact that Marla said that getting financing is easier. We're getting the appraisals getting caught up. How's the title and escrow people? Are they finally getting a break? Because that was causing problems too, right? There was just too many people going through the pipeline. Are you guys seeing that things are getting like through the system on time?
From our experience on the mortgage side, sorry, Amber, it is a little bit easier to schedule closings now. We were getting a lot of pushback over the summer that they would not move up a closing until they had final loan approval from the lender. And that we've not seen as much of that now as we were then. So I do think with refinances kind of tapering off a little bit, they're getting a little freed up.
Okay. Amber, you were going to say something?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I would say overall, I feel like they are still pretty busy, but we have been able to close. I can only actually think of one in the last month that we were able to close early. So I would not expect, an escrow right now to be able to necessarily close early. It might be possible. But yeah, usually we're still needing all those days because the escrow companies are telling us, there's just no way, even if everything's ready. We can't.
Okay, so
we won't.
Okay, so in East Hawaii, you're still looking at 30
yeah
days closing. Okay.
Yeah, we're usually closer to actually like 45, 50 days.
45 days. Okay.
Yeah.
Some people, because I know some people in this group sometimes will say, when should I make the offer and then close and then move my stuff over? Because they also have to plan their lives to try and get things shipped over in the cars and stuff, so that there's a little bit of a weirdness going on there, right?
It's so hard for people. So I just tell people, have a backup plan for your backup plan. Everything might go exactly the way you expect, but you might run into unexpected delays at the last minute. So just don't have anything too important hinging on certain dates. Like make sure that you have alternative housing and maybe storage. You don't want to get yourself in a really, really stressful situation. So I really empathize with people because I've been there. It is hard logistically, but just, try and be flexible if you're relocating.
Yeah. And then Cole and Stacy also, in terms of what's happening with your market with the North Hawaii, are you seeing that escrows are going clean and through on time, or what's your average date for closing? What are you guys seeing up there?
I mean, I still think you doing anything less than 30 days will get you yelled at by the escrow company, but, and it's not very, I think they can do it. I saw a 2-week close on a house the other day and on a cash deal. And, I know they can do it, but I think they're trying hard to get everybody done in a timely manner, and it's not very helpful to them. And I would also say that it's not, if you're a buyer, unless you're just trying to get yourself in there that quickly, I mean, you want to give time for people to do their jobs. You want to be sure you have time to review documents and that you're not rushing ahead on a purchase that without taking any time at all to research it, to make sure you're not getting a bad deal. I mean, there's skipping inspections and skipping appraisals and skipping, those things can come back to bite you later. There's some things that you're pretty, if it's a newer house, your inspections are less important. But, if it's in a subdivision, maybe the survey is less important. But, I try to remind people not to skip all of those. I do love the contracts here that you can add. You could do a 30-day close with a 14-day extension option. And that way you look really good, but you have a little bit of a safety net in there if you need to do an extension, that either party can make that option. So I like that option for clients that want to look aggressive but not take a huge risk.
That's good. Good advice. Very good advice. Let's see. Is anybody else asking questions? Okay. So speaking of advice, I love that. That was a good one. As these, these wonderful people are sitting here going like, I'm trying to make the move here. Is there other, like, maybe we'll do once around the room here. Like knowing what's happening now with what you know about what's happening with the market and like how long it takes to close things. Can you give one piece of advice to help the people who are here now looking to buy within the next 30 days to, I see a few of you, I know 2 or 3 of you are going to be moving here to the island pretty soon to look for housing. And then some of you, I know they're I'm waiting 3 or 4 months. So can you give them some advice on that time frame? Lance, you got something cooking in there? That's might be a good thing to remember.
Yeah, no, I didn't have anything off the top of my head. What I was just going to add in when we're talking about the timelines and stuff real quick is, we got a house that needs to be termite tinted, and we reached out to every company on the island, and the soonest somebody can get us in is April of next year. Mm. So be prepared to deal with that too. A lot of these vendors and things, one of them quit taking appointments, period, because they're booked into next year. And the others were April and May was as soon as they could get us in. So we got clients who are going to have to move into the house, and then in April, pack everything, clean it up so that it can be tented and take their food out and those type of things. So, just be aware that all the vendors are behind, not just escrow companies. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah, someone in the Kona Newbies group had said, I'm trying to get a termite and I can't get the termite until like February, March. And everyone was like, oh, wow, what happened? And then they tried to call and they said, well, now it's like end of April, beginning of May. So yeah, we have too many people buying with not enough, tradespeople sometimes. So that was a good point. And Delania, do you have any updates like that you might be seeing or advice?
Yeah, I think it's important to remember to, just because you put in an offer and you've opened escrow and you have a close date, that's not a firm date. I have clients now that the title report came and there's some issues we have to work through, and we don't have a firm close date. We're hoping to be close to our original close date. But everything's kind of up in the air until we can get these things resolved. And sometimes things happen right up at the end of escrow. There's always a slight chance that it doesn't close. So don't ship everything and buy plane tickets. Or if you do, like Amber said, have plan B and plan C and plan D, because it's not over until you get the call from the title company that you've recorded. So yeah, so that would be a big one. And then in terms of time frame, it's all over for people. I have clients that came, and within the first week, we found a condo. You know, we're in escrow, they'll be closing soon. I have other clients that were really specific about what they wanted and spent a year taking trips and looking and buying before they bought their condos. So you kind of have to look at your motivation and plan around that. You know, if you're willing to really be flexible just to get a foothold, or if you're really firm about what you want. If you're really specific and you want a really, you know, specific building, or you have really firm wants and needs, just, you know, be open to taking the time to get the right property.
Good one. Yeah. We have Delania and I are working on one. I gave her a lady that only wants one specific condo complex, and she has to have it like facing a certain way. So yeah, so she's been waiting for at least 8 months now. So yeah. And Cole and Stacy, you got some advice that you want to share to these folks?
We're talking while we were muted, but just knowing what you want, having in mind what you're looking for as far as not just your house, but your community, your schools, have it all lined up.
Yeah. Instead, because we also had a couple people, I'm not too sure on the island where I want to live. Can I get a realtor to just drive me around? I'm like,
It's
no.
a good thing to come and explore it all, because
Yeah.
everybody likes something different, and there is something
Because
different.
I mean, it's so funny looking at all of you guys. I mean, every one of you, and including myself, where I live up in 700 feet, we all live in completely different experiences based on where we live. And the Big Island is so diverse in terms of weather and community and income and everything else that it's where you have to feel comfortable. And you know, as with Amber, you know, you might get a brand new build in Hilo for 850,000, but maybe you want to be next to a beach and watch a sunset, and that's a 2-hour drive. So, you know, it's definitely like a get. What are you looking for? What do you want? Jana, you just gave a tip, right? So you have your tip. That was good. Okay. So unless there's
Can I
questions,
give my woo
give your
advice?
woo-woo, the goo-woo. That's what we're gonna start pushing more of the woo-woo.
My woo-woo advice that has worked for a lot of buyers and worked for us too is just, you know, as Cole and Stacy said, like, know what you want, be flexible, like Amber and Lance and Delania are saying. But I firmly believe that if you know what you want and you're prepared, you're pre-approved, you're watching the market, when the right house comes up, you will get it. If you don't get a house, it's probably, there's a reason. That's my woo-woo advice. So just don't get discouraged and keep looking and watching and making offers and whatever. And if you're motivated, it will happen.
Yeah, the right thing shows up at the right time. And real quick, Tony Lopez is asking, are organic termite treatments an option, or does financing require traditional tenting? Does it matter for tenting? I mean, for get mortgage, does it have to be a termite?
I don't know the answer to that question. I would have to look into it and see if there is a requirement that it's chemical versus organic. I can't imagine that they would not accept an organic solution if it's certified at the end that the termites have been abated. I don't know.
Yeah, we used orange oil for our house in California. I don't know if they have that here. You do? Eric's saying yes. Okay, so we got Eric giving his 2 cents there. So, okay.
I mean, if you read the contract, it states that it's the recommended treatment. So I'm assuming if you had a termite company come out and say our recommended treatment, whether it's spot treatment or tenting, this is the recommended treatment to deal with the issue, then as long as that was followed through, the lender, I would think, would accept that. But, you know, it's kind of a gray area.
Okay.
That's what I've been told too. It's up to whatever the termite company says. That's what has to be done. So I don't know any of that. You know, maybe some do the orange oil. I don't know, but I think that's probably.
Yeah, that's a
what
nice
that means, yeah.
I've had that same thing is it's what's recommended. I think just like you guys said, you know, what it says on the contract. We've even, you know, you get yourself in a slippery slope there. Sometimes we've had people found it in 2 areas and wanted a different termite company to come out and give us a different recommendation, you know, because they wanted the whole. It's like, no, we can't do that. You and I, you know, the home's going to get infected in 6 months, and you and I are going to be paying for the next tenting because that's what was recommended. So that's a problem. And on that organic treatment, We aren't recommending that for clients because that orange oil is flammable, and they inject that into the woods, and it makes the home it'll go up in flames a lot quicker. It creates a problem. So we aren't recommending that to any of the clients.
No, there we go. So Tony, that's a good one to keep your eye on there for you. Okay. Okay. Well, as we're coming up on an hour here, we're trying to keep it under an hour. I am going to say thank you to our wonderful realtors and for all of you who have joined us live. We are going to turn this into a YouTube link, so those who came in a little bit late can go back to the beginning and hear what we had to say. And if you have further questions, go ahead and send them to me in general. We can answer them over at the Facebook page, and that way you guys can get a chance to see what everyone's talking about. And with that, unless there's anything last, everyone give a big aloha and thanks you guys, and we'll do this next month. We'll do it on the 3rd Thursday, not the 4th Thursday, instead of whatever, but it looks like at 2 o'clock we're getting more people, so we'll keep it at 2 o'clock for next month as well. And again, you guys, thanks for joining, and we will see you guys. A great afternoon in front of you guys. Okay,
Aloha.
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 Everybody, it's great to see everybody from around the island and get great opinions. It's
Yeah.
good. Thank you. All right.
Bye.
See you guys.